I don't usually remember my dreams. Most nights I sleep and wake up with no memory of what happened in between. But last night was different. Last night I had a dream so vivid, so real, that when I woke up I wasn't sure if I had been asleep at all. And in that dream, Jesus Christ came to me. Not in some abstract, symbolic way, but as real as any conversation I've ever had. And what he told me, what he showed me, I knew immediately that I had to share it. Especially before December 14th, because there's something about that timing that feels important, almost urgent. The dream started simply. I found myself walking alone on a path. I don't know where it was, somewhere peaceful, somewhere quiet, trees on both sides, sunlight filtering through the leaves, creating patterns of light and shadow on the ground. I wasn't stressed, I wasn't worried, I was just walking. And then I noticed someone walking beside me. I turned my head, and there he was, Jesus Christ. I knew it was him instantly, not because of how he looked, but because of how I felt. The moment I saw him, everything in me settled. All the noise in my mind, all the weight I carry, it just quieted. And he looked at me with such kindness, such understanding, that I almost started crying right there. He didn't say anything at first. We just walked together. And that silence wasn't uncomfortable. It was the most comfortable silence I've ever experienced. Like being with someone who knows you completely and doesn't need you to explain yourself. After what felt like forever, but also no time at all, he finally spoke. His voice was gentle but clear. He said, "Do you know why we're walking together right now?" I shook my head. I didn't know. He smiled softly and said, "Because you forgot how to walk with me when you're awake." That hit me harder than I expected. I realized how true it was. In my waking life, I'm always moving, always busy, always focused on the next thing. I rarely slow down enough to just walk, to just be present, to just exist alongside something greater than myself. Jesus continued, "People think walking with me means going to church or saying prayers, and those things are good. But walking with me is simpler than that. It's about presence. It's about being willing to slow down enough to notice I'm here." I felt tears forming in my eyes, even in the dream, because I understood. I've spent so much of my life running, achieving, building, proving, and in all that motion I forgot to simply be. I forgot to walk. He looked ahead at the path and said, "Most people are running through their lives, chasing things they think will make them happy. Success, recognition, comfort, security, but they're running so fast that they miss the beauty along the way. They miss the moments that actually matter." I thought about that. How many times have I been so focused on reaching the destination that I forgot to enjoy the journey? How many moments have I missed because I was too busy planning the next move? Jesus stopped walking, and I stopped beside him. He turned to face me fully, and his eyes were so kind, so full of compassion, that I couldn't look away. He said, "I want to show you something." And suddenly the path we were on changed. We were no longer in the peaceful forest. We were standing on a hill, overlooking a city. But it wasn't just any city. It was filled with people, millions of them, all moving in different directions. Some were running, some were stumbling, some were standing still, looking lost. And I could feel their emotions, the stress, the fear, the exhaustion, the confusion. It was overwhelming. Jesus said softly, "This is what I see every day. People searching for something they already have. People running from pain they need to face. People waiting for permission to live the life they were created for." I watched the crowds below and my heart broke, because I recognized myself in them. I recognized the pattern, the constant striving, the endless seeking, the fear that if we stop moving we'll fall behind or be forgotten. Jesus placed his hand on my shoulder, and the touch was so warm, so grounding, that everything in me calmed again. He said, "I didn't come to make people run faster. I came to teach them how to rest, how to walk, how to be still and know that I am God." Those words settled into my chest like truth I'd always known but forgotten. Rest, walk, be still. These aren't signs of weakness, they're signs of trust, they're signs of faith, they're signs that we understand we don't have to carry everything alone. The scene changed again. Now we were sitting together on a simple wooden bench, just the two of us. The chaos of the city was gone. It was quiet again, peaceful. And Jesus looked at me with such tenderness that I finally let the tears fall. He said, "You've been carrying so much for so long, and you think that's what strength looks like, but real strength is knowing when to put it down." I nodded, unable to speak, because he was right. I've worn my burdens like armor, thinking that carrying them made me strong, but all it's done is make me tired. Jesus continued, "I want you to know something important. You don't have to earn my love. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to accomplish one more thing for me to see you as valuable. You already are. You always have been." I broke down completely. In the dream I cried like I haven't cried in years. Not from sadness but from relief. Relief that I didn't have to keep striving. Relief that I could finally stop trying to be enough and just accept that I already am. He let me cry. He didn't try to fix it or rush me through it. He just sat there beside me, his presence saying more than words ever could. When I finally calmed down I asked him, "What do you want me to do?"
He smiled and said, I want you to share this. I want you to tell people that they don't have to run anymore, that it's okay to slow down, that rest is not laziness, it's wisdom, that walking with me doesn't require perfection, it just requires willingness. I nodded. I understood. This dream wasn't just for me, it was for everyone who would hear it. Everyone who's been running themselves into the ground, everyone who's been carrying burdens they were never meant to carry alone, everyone who's forgotten that rest is sacred. Jesus stood up and I stood with him. He looked at me one more time and said, before December 14th, people need to hear this, because so many are heading into the holiday season exhausted, depleted, running on empty, and I want them to know they can stop, they can rest, they can walk with me. And then he was gone, not in a dramatic way, just gently like morning mist dissolving in sunlight, and I woke up, my face was wet with real tears, my heart was pounding, and I knew without any doubt that what I experienced was real. It wasn't just a dream, it was an encounter, it was a message, and I was supposed to share it, so I'm sharing it now, with you. Because if you're watching this especially before December 14th, then maybe you need to hear it too. Maybe you've been running for so long that you forgot how to walk. Maybe you've been carrying so much that you forgot it's okay to put it down. Maybe you've been striving so hard to prove your worth that you forgot you already have it. Jesus Christ is inviting you to slow down, to rest, to walk with him, not in some religious complicated way, but in the simplest way possible. Just be present, just be willing, just be open to the truth that you don't have to do this alone. I know what it's like to feel like you can't stop, like if you slow down everything will fall apart. But that's a lie. The truth is, when you slow down, when you rest, when you allow yourself to walk instead of run, everything actually comes into focus. You see what really matters. You feel what's real. You connect with what's eternal. As I sit here now remembering that dream, I feel different, lighter, more peaceful, not because my circumstances changed, but because my perspective did. I'm not carrying everything anymore. I'm walking, with him, and it's changing everything. I want to ask you something important. What would happen if you stopped running? What would happen if you allowed yourself to rest? What would happen if you trusted that you don't have to prove anything to be loved? Think about it. Really think about it. Because the answer to those questions might be the freedom you've been searching for all along. Jesus didn't come to add more to your to-do list. He came to offer you rest. Real rest. The kind that restores your soul. The kind that reminds you who you are. The kind that helps you remember that life is not a race, it's a walk. And he's walking beside you every single step. If this dream, this message, touched something in you, don't ignore it. That's him. That's Jesus, reaching out to you, inviting you to slow down, to breathe, to rest. Tell me, what are you carrying that you need to put down? What would it feel like to finally rest? Share your thoughts below. I believe that when we're honest about our struggles, we create space for healing, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who reads our words and realizes they're not alone.